In favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'm sorry, I forgot to check the sheet. Is there any no public comment? Thank you. We are on to our superintendent update. Red Hawk highlights. Mr. Billhorn. Thank you. Any questions? Board President report. Jeremy and I attended our first HYA Transition Academy. And I think I said last time the focus was on alignment between the strategic plan, the vision and mission, our leadership profile, our goals, our teaching and learning goals. And I know Jeremy's done some work on that alignment. And before we head into our next meeting with HYA, which is in October. Next one's in October, when we'll give you the next update. Jeremy, did you want to add something to that? Any questions? Human Resources Report, Rick Mullen.
Thanks, Annette. The HR committee met on July 29th. First item is discussion on 2026-27 staffing. In March, the board approved an additional 1.0 FTE intellectual disabilities teacher due to growing needs at Northside School. Since then, enrollment projections for the guided flight program have declined, and administration feels that current staffing levels are sufficient to meet the needs of our students. Because of this, administration is recommending reallocating that position to add another full-time counselor at Northside. The second counselor will help to ease some of the burden on the other staff by offering additional proactive behavioral and social emotional supports for our students. Northside currently has only one counselor position for over 750 students. Like all district staffing decisions, this will be evaluated in the future to make sure it is meeting student needs and district priorities. This is just information only, no action needed to be taken on this. Chris or Jeremy, did you have anything to add on that?
No, I think you said it well too. As it's working, I appreciate the work that Ms. Kramer and Ms. Weiss did in evaluating what those needs are, and I think that it's going to be good for Northside. It's been something that has been sought after for a little while, and I think this is a really good opportunity for us. A lot of students going to actually enhance the other positions they have.
Any questions or comments on that? Okay, next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action on the Milton Middle School Athletics and Activities Director stipend. During the June 3rd HR committee meeting and the June 8th Board of Education meeting, Chris Tukendorf shared that administration would be conducting a review of the middle school Director of Athletics stipend. Since that time, Tara Sawinski, Jeremy Billhorn, Jeff Spivak, and Chris Tukendorf have completed the review of the position and its responsibilities. Based on the expanded responsibilities of the Middle School Director of Athletics, as outlined in the attached memo and board docs, the HR committee recommends increasing the annual stipend from $4,200 to $6,000. Some of the expanded responsibilities include administering the bound communication platform, coordinating transportation with Go Right Way, and the addition of the swim and cross-country sports at the middle school level. This stipend was last adjusted in the 2016-17 school year. Chris or Jeremy, anything to add to that? Okay, any questions from any board members? I'm going to make a motion to approve the 2026-27 Middle School Director of Athletics stipend as presented.
Second.
I have a motion from Rick, a second from John. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Third item on the agenda is discussion on proposed additions and changes to the employee handbook for 26-27. Attached in board docs is a packet showing in red proposed changes to the handbook for the coming year. Since our HR meeting, Jeremy and Chris have met with MEA President Sarah Brechtel and the administrative team to discuss the changes. The proposed changes will come back to the board at our August 24th meeting for possible approval. I would encourage all board members to look over the revisions and reach out to Jeremy and or Chris with any questions you may have. Following board approval, the updated handbook will be shared with all staff prior to September 1st. Any questions on that topic?
I just have one quick question on that topic. The sections that we reviewed as part of policy, is that what made its way in here on the new Grooming Policy Act 88 and 89? Is that what it is?
That is part of it.
Okay.
So if you look at the attached handbook or
I think it's
red
page
line,
8.
yes. So that is section 604, the appropriate communication between school employees and pupils. The first section is what our attorney that was reviewing our handbook drafted up. And then the second part of that same section is what I added as a overarching summary of Act 89. So just giving that information and then indicating that it's all employees are required to have that annual training.
Okay, because it's letting them know it's coming from that act.
Correct.
Fair enough. Thank
Correct.
you.
And then it does reference those two board policies that are out there for support staff and certified staff.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to new business. Whitney?
All right, so you have our children at risk of not graduating from high school plan for 26-27. So this is based off of data from 25-26 of our children who are at risk of not graduating high school. So that's defined as any pupils in grades 5 through 12 who are at risk of not graduating because they meet 2 or more of the following. So 1 or more years behind their age group and the number of credits that they have, so that impacts the high school. 2 or more years behind their age and basic skill levels, habitually truant, school-age parents, adjudicated delinquents, and then 8th grade students who score below basic on their forward exam. So you can see the chart of what our historical data looks like. So if we look at 25-26, we have 6.6% of our total student population in those grade levels who meet that at-risk definition. And our graduation rate this past year was 98%. So both of those scores are an improvement in our data from our past years. So what this report outlines is what are we going to do about it? So we know 6.6% of our students are at risk of not graduating and potentially dropping out. So what are we putting in place to make sure that that doesn't happen and that they can be ready for graduation? So we compile this information about our students. We provide that information to each of those schools so that they have that data about their students, and then they can plan together as a team of how they are going to support them. So some ways that we do that are our MLSS, which is our multi-level systems of support. So that's the framework that we use. So we make sure that everybody gets a really strong universal curriculum and instruction. And then from there, we say who needs more. What does that look like for tier 2 for those students? Who needs even more? What does that look like for tier 3? And then if we have students who still aren't making those gains, are they suspected of being a student with a disability? And then do we provide the support in other ways? So our MLSS system is the framework that we use. Our PLCs are how we talk about that data consistently. And then from there, we have intervention teams, our school student services staff. We also have our social emotional curriculum that we have now implemented for K-12 and different supports along the way. So supports for our students who are experiencing homelessness, need mental health support, a lot of different options. We also encourage things like post-secondary readiness. So those are our dual credits for colleges and getting students into co-op. So those things that help them get interested and want to meet those graduation requirements and be ready for post-secondary. And we also offer different options of programming. So our Milton Wired, Milton Achieve, and our Next Step are some examples of those. So what we're seeing in conclusion is that our data is continuing to improve in the right direction, and we have these supports in place for the students who we need to kind of wrap around and support so that they can get to graduation. So our commitments are continuing to partner with students, families, and the community to ensure that students who are at risk are provided with opportunities in and out of school to meet their needs, maintaining a focus on our strong universal instruction opportunities to prepare students for achievement and lifetime readiness, and renewing our focus on our MLSS system, which we talked about through our strategic plan. In 2 of our areas, that's our focus, is how do we strengthen that framework and make sure that every student, regardless of what school they're in, gets the support that they need. Any questions?
Thank you for the presentation. It's really good to see the improvement in those numbers because obviously we want every student to graduate. Was there a deeper dive at the high school number? Because obviously that is the one that moved the most, that really moved that needle. Whereas so now it's at 48 versus last year at 72. Is that those students got to a point where they are now on track? Did we lose some? Did some graduate out? Was there a dive on those figures?
So the specific students that are in those numbers, so this summer is when we collected that data. And then that information was given to schools, I believe it was last week. We probably sent it to you guys. So when their staff come back, that's when they're going to dig into specific student information and do a deeper dive into that data. It's not due to fewer students or losing students. A lot of things combined, right, through that framework that we're trying to put in place to make sure that students have what they need.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the children.
I have a motion from Rick, a second from Ed. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And thank you, Whitney. It's really nice to see that kind of progress. You're on to the staffing report.
I'll make a motion to approve the staffing report as presented.
I have a motion from Tracy, a second from John. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting dates. Chelsea, what do you have for us? Thank you very much. A motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Rick, a second from Tracy. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. So we will adjourn this meeting and